can't go to the book barn and get you more stuff for the book
When did you realize
box.
that? First of all, when did they
When I
close?
messaged you, like the 5th of January. So it's about the same time it opened the last time is when they closed this time.
Oh
And
man.
I've been I don't know what happened in January. So I haven't been paying attention. I kept meaning to go on days
Right.
off, and instead I just slept. And then I decided, oh, I really need a book barn day, right? Like it's been really busy. I'm like, I need a book barn day. And I went and looked
Wow.
to see, and I'm like, God damn it.
That's
So they'll come
crazy.
back. It's just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Omarion that is coming. Poor anybody named Omarion.
Well, Omarion did make a video about it. He was like, I am not the corona Omarion virus. It was pretty funny. So, what's going on today? Today, let's talk about the wonderful thing that we stumbled upon at the very beginning of January,
Yes.
which
The
is
winter.
January in Japan. We're going to do
Yes.
our wrap ups from that. But before we get into the January in Japan, let's talk about what we are currently reading or what we just
Mm-hmm.
finished reading.
Mm-hmm. You want to go first while I think of something?
I will go first. I will go first. So I know that on the show I've talked about Tiari Jones before because I've said to you all how wonderful An American Marriage is and her other book called Silver Sparrow. Both so good. Both page turners. So I own two of her other novels, and then I own this it's like a collection of noir short stories, which she has a story in there, and she edited the project as a whole. But I read her other two novels this week, The Untelling
Mm-hmm.
and Leaving Atlanta. Listen, here's the thing. Tiari Jones can do no wrong. Hear me when I say this. She's a fantastic writer. And what I'm realizing is she writes family dynamics so well. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
And
she
that's
just really
that's
gets
your
you in there.
shit. You
It
love
is my
that.
shit. She gets you in there. She's so good. These stories are so different, but like when you start reading her books, like you were in it. You were like fully invested, like at the get go. I enjoy both of these books so much. And ironically, both of them make me cry.
Ooh,
I,
you cried? Wow. I should read
yeah.
these. I might die.
This one got me at the end, and this one got me somewhere around the middle. But so leaving Atlanta is so like back. I think back in the '80s, there were a lot of black children going missing in
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta, and this is like a fictionalized story of that. And then the Untelling is about this woman who loses her father at a very early age, and it's following her as she's an adult working and is in a relationship with this man, and there's this secret
Mm-hmm.
that she has
We love
that
secrets.
is basically shared by someone else to her boyfriend, and things unravel from there. But I just think Tiari Jones writes family in the best way.
Nice. I guess we'll talk about the book I finished last night. The Shadow Rising, which is book 4 in Wheel of
Yeah,
Time, which
yeah,
was a slog and a half to get through.
yeah.
It I I think I'm gonna do like a wrap up video on my channel of just the first 4 books and how I'm feeling so far in this Wheel of Time.
Ooh,
But as a
yes.
quick snapshot in this project of trying to get through this I have thoughts and feelings, and my major feeling in Shadow Rising is the same as yours. It's too freaking long. Like, we're doing too many things in this book.
Amen.
There's too many dreamscapes. Like, I'm gonna keep harping on the dreamscapes
Yeah.
because like I kept getting lost in them because I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yes.
Why is everybody in a dream?
Yes.
I
Yes.
just I just I just couldn't. But then there were things I really liked. Like, I love all of Parent's stuff. I love the women.
Yes,
I love
absolutely.
watching the women do their thing.
The women are
But
awesome.
Rand just sucks. And like, why is he so obsessed with women? Like, doesn't he just
Because he's a
read
young
like?
teenager. That's why.
But the other ones don't read like that. Everybody
That's
else, they're all
true.
supposed to be the same age, and everybody
That's
else
true.
like is an adult.
He is
Like, they.
definitely the most immature
Mm-hmm.
of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why,
And
but it's quite annoying.
He's so obsessed with every woman.
Yeah.
And like, what was with the biting? Like, did we like? I was like, when did we become a vampire novel?
That threw me off.
I was so confused.
That threw me off. Also, as I think I was telling you, there are so many moments where I just completely zoned out of that book.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same. So I don't know what I missed or didn't miss, and I hope it doesn't affect me in book 5, but I feel like I met all the new key players I needed to meet.
Right.
I feel like I got most of the big reveals that I need going forward in the next however many books that they're important for.
Yep.
But like, I don't know.
Way
I think
too long.
it's too much. I just really hate Rand. And I really hope Perrin kills him. We discussed this last night, and I hope that that's the ultimate summation of this book. And if it's not, we should rewrite it.
Yeah, he's so annoying.
He's so annoying.
And, you know, spoiler alert for those who haven't watched the show yet, he's also annoying in the show. So just, there's no reprieve. Annoying in the books, annoying in the show. I actually hate him more in the show.
Really? I have to finish the show at some point, but I haven't.
I hate him more.
Been able to stay awake long enough to go to like the last show I watched was, what was that show?
The Nevers.
The Nevers. That was the and I stayed up till all night watching it until it was done, which is why I don't watch TV, because I get obsessive. Like when I find something, I get obsessive, so I don't.
I'm not the one to talk because you already know how I roll with TV. Yeah. You know.
So yeah, but so. We'll see. We'll keep going with Wheel of Time.
We're gonna start book 5 this month. So here's hoping.
We're getting close, I think, to where there's the mid-series lull. I don't know exactly where it comes in, but
it's definitely between 5 and 7, from what I've heard. So I'm prepared for whatever. I mean, because again, 4 was a slog for me.
It was.
If anyone out there has read the series, let us know. If you read the series like in full, did you experience any of those books being a complete slog for you, or were you just thrilled with every book? Let us know, because we're very curious as to how people are perceiving the series. Also, let me know if you're a person who read it twice.
Oh, God. I'm just looking at the series right now, and I'm trying to figure out how long the other books are. Like, it looks like the one where Brandon Sanderson comes in.
Oh, those puppies get long, baby.
Those are long, because Brandon Sanderson doesn't know how to edit himself down. But,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm trying to see
and then
what we have in store for ourselves.
That we should read New Spring, like somewhere in between, like 5 and 7 as well. Like that's
we have to figure out where to put that.
Yeah,
but New Spring's little.
Yeah, yes, it's
little.
It's the size book 4 should have been.
You know what it is that they keep going on these stupid journeys, and we don't need all these journeys all the time.
Yeah,
like there's too much going somewhere in the book.
Yeah.
And then they're always like, all of them are always divided and then coming back together. It's the same plot over and over again, where they kind of get split up and then they kind of come back together. Sometimes they all come back together, all the characters. Sometimes just some of them do.
Right.
So half the time I don't know where they are anymore. Like at some point I was like, wait, how did Egwene get here? What?
Yep.
But
I'm trying to figure out, like, am I a fantasy reader who isn't into epic journeying? I don't know. I just feel like I need something to happen.
There was a lot happening, but there was also not a lot happening, and I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you... It's actually skillful how you accomplish that. I don't... Yeah. It's not a good skill, but it's a skill.
Yeah.
Not to speak ill of the dead, but...
yeah. Surely. I'm not a fantasy reader. I don't consider myself a fantasy reader because I haven't read a lot of fantasy. So I'm still learning what I like. I know I like it dark. I know I like it bloody. I know I like it very treacherous. I know I like that. But I guess I'm learning if I'm liking the journeying part of epic fantasy.
I think when you're ready for the First Law trilogy, you'll be happy. I need to read The Blade itself again, but then we can keep going with the rest of it.
Okay. So somebody on BookTube was doing a read along for Abercrombie. I forget who it is. Who was talking about it? Jess was talking about it. I forget.
Yeah, a lot of people I think right now are... Yeah. I've seen a lot of people in the beginning of the year talking about starting the First Law trilogy.
Yeah.
I read The Blade itself
2 years ago.
I feel like it was 2 years ago now.
Yeah, it wasn't last year. It was definitely 2 years ago.
I mean, it was good. It's definitely like very man heavy, and I mean, it's very dark, and I
I
like
remember
that.
what you were saying about it. Yeah.
But I need to reread it because I don't feel comfortable jumping into book 2 right now. I
Yeah.
don't remember anymore.
Yeah.
So.
And we got to get in our John Gwynn Faithful and the Fallen because we both bought that series, 2 years ago?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine reading it alongside of Wheel of Time.
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care.
I'm good with that. So, folks, if you all want to join us in reading John Gwynn's The Faithful and the Fallen series, just join our Discord. We'll create a chat for that.
Yeah. And
So,
maybe I'll even talk on that.
Yeah.
I'm the worst.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So, yeah, when we start, we'll let you know. But if you want to do that with us, join our Discord. The link's on our website, tbrlowdown.com.
Yay!
Yay!
So, what are we talking about today?
January in Japan. I didn't know it was a thing.
I know. I'm very happy I found out it was a thing.
You know, I was on Instagram. I saw, somebody's post, and I was like, what is this? January in Japan. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I think I tagged you in the comment.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately checked out my
we
shelves.
made TBRs.
Checked out my shelves, and then I was like, let me check my libraries to see what they had. So I got 6 books from the library for January in Japan, and I had a smacking good time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There's a couple things I don't remember very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really good. I have no complaints. And there's one I'm still finishing, but I learned that I do not like ebooks from Scribd because I can't put them on my actual Kindle.
Huh? You can't?
Unless somebody wants to tell me how. I just can read them in the app.
In the Scribd app. That's surprising. They know people read on the Kindle.
So, like, I picked it up one day and I was trying to read it on my phone, which is terrible. And I rarely ever have my iPad, like, out and about with me. So then, how am I reading this book? It's only 197 pages, and I've read, like, 50, and it's been a slog. Not because the book isn't good, but because
the format.
I don't like reading on the Scribd app. And I love Scribd. I've never gotten ebooks from them. I only use them for audiobooks.
Same.
And now I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to read an ebook again from them.
Wow.
So unless somebody knows how to get it onto my actual Kindle.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So.
We'll have to do a little research on that one.
Yeah.
So overall, how many books did you read for January in Japan? I feel like you read a lot.
No. One. We're gonna count. 2. No, that's Korean. 3, 4. I read 4.
Okay, I
didn't read a lot.
I only read 6. And you know what's funny?
5, 6. No, 6. I have 6.
You know what's funny? I didn't read the ones that I pulled from my shelf. I just read the ones that I got from the library.
Oh, interesting.
I know.
You read a lot of... I want to read the ones you read.
I read some good ones, man.
You did.
I read some really good ones. I found 2 authors that I'm like really into. Really, really into. I had a good time.
Wait, is it 7? Maybe I read 7. I don't know. Let's
go with it.
Let's go. Off. Okay, so I read At the End of the Matinee by Keiichiro Hirano, Keiichirano. I'm sorry, I said your name wrong. So this is like a contemporary romance. You have this musician and this other lady who is engaged to somebody else, I think. But basically they have this long relationship, sort of friendship, where they kind of they're in love with each other, but they never really get to say they're in love with each other. And they end up with other people, and it's just it's a really moving and lovely story. I really enjoyed it. I thought it wasn't like romancy, like smutty romance. It was like contemporary romance. So it was it was more about the relationship between these two people, and there is like a miscommunication somewhere in there that they almost get together, and then there's this miscommunication, and their lives go in different paths, but
Was
then they
that part
kind of
done
come.
well?
Yes, and
Okay.
then they kind of come back together again, and it's really really good. You have like a sort of like one person that you end up really despising, and then you have this couple that I really liked the couple. I thought they were a really really good little couple. Yeah, so it's good.
You
I liked it.
know, I wanted
Read
to
it.
read that. I have it on my Kindle, which is why I didn't read it.
Hmm.
But maybe I'll, you know how I go with my waves of wanting to read the Kindle and then not.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I really liked. Remember we were talking way back, and I think one of our first episodes about diverse reads and
Hmm.
whether there were like translated romances. There must be translated romances. They have to
Yes.
exist. And this is
Yes.
definitely in that bucket. It's not like smutty bang bang romance, but you definitely get like a happily ever after kind of. You get like it's good.
Okay.
I liked it.
All right. The next time that I feel like I want to read my Kindle, I will tackle that one
It
first.
does have an audiobook if you want to listen to it.
Oh, then I can read along on the Kindle. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. I like it. All
See,
right.
I help. I
So
help.
I the first book I read was Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, and everyone probably knows about this book because it's very, very known and loved, and I can see why. This is a very also it's such a cute little book, isn't it?
It is
It's so
adorable.
tiny and just it's so cute. But it's about this woman who, by all social standards, she's a little off. And, unlike her other peers who have, gone to college and have, big careers or, are married with children, she just works in a convenience store and she is perfectly happy, perfectly content, takes a lot of pride in her job. She has really mastered learning what customers need. I mean, she's really become a pro at her job. And, but she's a little off in a lot of ways. Like, she doesn't really know how to act in social circles. She has friends from school, but she doesn't have like a ton of friends. She's not really dating anyone. And she's got these weird behaviors. And so it's just a story about her life. But what I realized that I love about this writer is she writes some weird, quirky stuff. And I
I like
cannot
weird
get
and
enough
quirky.
of it. I cannot get enough of it. Like, even this book even tackle what's the term? Is it asexual? Is it asexual when you don't really have like feelings, sexual feelings for a partner? Is that what that is? Okay, so this book tackles that a little bit. It's very interesting. So I can see why this book is beloved in the manner it is. I adore this book and I adore this author.
I have the audio for that. I was gonna listen to it the other day, and then I listened to Mediocre instead. So,
Oh yeah,
which is
listen
also
to
very
it.
good.
Yeah, listen
Yeah.
to it because it's super short, but it's super good.
Yeah, it was only like 3 hours or something
Hmm.
like that as an audiobook. So I
Yeah,
mean, now that you're showing me the book, that makes perfect sense.
yeah,
It's like this
little
big.
pocket size, but yeah, it's a strange little book, but I love it.
I like strange little books.
Hmm.
I like strange little books.
Yeah.
So this is one of the books that I don't remember as well. So that's Terminal Boredom by Izumi Suzuki, and
She's a music
this
artist,
is a
right?
yeah, and she unalived herself back I think in the 90s, but she's sort of like a cultural icon of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there are these weird, they're all short stories. They're these weird sort of sci-fi short stories that cover all kinds of different things. I'll try to like pull up a Goodreads thing about them because they were. I think why it's hard for me to remember them is because when it comes to short story collections, I have a hard time sometimes because they kind of go all over the place,
Yeah.
and then I can't. My brain can't seem to remember what went in the book, and
Yep.
what was just I
Especially
get
if they're not
confused.
really interconnected.
They're not really, and I don't know, but there's oh yeah, there's like this. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just weird sci-fi stories that I don't know. It's weird.
You know who
They're kind of
speaks
like
really highly of that book is Books
Books and
and
Bow,
Bow.
right?
Yeah,
It's not
they really
bad.
like that book a lot.
I think I would have done better if I had it in physical form, and I didn't. I only had it on audiobook from the
Mm.
library. I feel like I would have connected more with each story that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Kept
because
better track.
sometimes, Yeah, also sometimes I feel like when I just listen to short story collections on audiobook, I don't know when one story ends and the other one begins because they
Oh,
just
so true.
yeah,
Yep.
because they'll just kind of bleed into each other. So then I get confused. Like I feel like I want to revisit this one as in a physical form if I can find it in physical form and see how I feel about it
Yeah.
after because they were definitely weird and bizarre, and I like weird and bizarre,
Yeah.
but like because there were some like almost Black Mirror like stories about like TV. There were a lot of things about like sort of gender fluidity, like weird things. Not that gender fluidity is weird, but the story was weird. And yeah, so I want to revisit this one in physical form.
Yeah, I think you should because I trust books and Bao, and he says that book is so incredible, and yeah,
It wasn't bad. It's just I think I picked the wrong format.
I think so too. Yeah, yeah,
But I was trying to not buy all the books.
I understand, and the library isn't always the
And
best
they
at
all
the translated works.
no, and I think all they had was the audio.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I went there.
Yeah. Again, I was surprised with what my library had. I completely surprised.
Yeah.
So my second book is also by Sayaka Murata, and it's Earthlings.
That one I really want to read after you told me
It's
how you
even
felt about it.
weirder. It's even weirder, man. So it's so weird. I feel like I need to read it again. It's strange because I have so many
I had myself
questions.
muted so that I could drink without you yelling at me, and
She's being a good
but
co-host. She's being a good co-host.
but like if it's so weird you want to read it again, that just like warms the cockles of my heart.
Yeah, because when I got to the end, I had these various questions as to what I actually, had just read, and I'm not really sure. So I may need to go back at a later date and read it again. But we're following this young girl, by all accounts, who seems to be like completely hated by her family. Like she does not fit in with them. She has a sibling, and that sibling is the beloved child, is the favorite, and it's like they hate her. That's just how it comes
Aww.
across in the book. She can't do anything right. She can't say anything right. She's always getting in trouble, and she believes because her plush little hedgehog stuffed animal told her that she, was going to be going to basically another like a space country or something, like outer space. And so she's been waiting to be
Space
picked up
country.
to go to
This
this.
sounds like Heaven's Gate
Wait,
shit.
what does she call it? She calls it Poppin. Wait a minute, hang on, let me try to get it right. Poppin'.
Poppin'
That's
Pabia?
the name of the planet, Poppin'.
Poppin' Pabia.
So apparently this is where her hedgehog comes from, and she's waiting to go there too. And it gets strange because she has this cousin who she also has a crush on. They're like cousins, but they're like little kid boyfriend girlfriend, and he also he also believes he's like an alien, and he's waiting for his people to come back to get him. This book gets so effing weird. I'm just trying to tell you, I have to read it again, but like it was weird in the best way.
I guess I'm reading this with you because yeah.
It was
'Cause
so out there, man.
I feel like I'm gonna have to talk to you about it.
It was so out there. So I can tell you this for sure. I need to get my own copy of Convenience Store Woman and Earthlings. But like Convenience Store Woman, weird. Earthlings, even weirder. Like Sayaka is amazing. I love her.
We are fans of weird over here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think you would love both these books as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've had my eye on Convenience Store Woman for a while. I just need to actually, I don't know, read it.
Yeah.
Or listen to it, whatever.
Yeah. And I think Earthlings would trip you out.
I'm here for it. I guess I'm going to lump together 3 of these books because they're all by Junji Ito.
Mm-hmm.
And I read his short manga collection, which is Venus in the Blind Spot, which we talked about on another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. I love the artwork. It was my first ever Junji Ito, and I get it. Like I get why he has a cult following. The stories are great. And there's even one really, really short one in there that reminds me a lot of Scary Stories We Tell in the Dark, where like those kinds of little stories that I read as a child.
Yeah.
And it's like this guy, somehow the father gets stuck under the post in the basement that's like holding the whole house up, and they can't move him because if we move him, then the whole house will collapse. So they just leave him there until he dies.
What? Oh,
And
okay.
there's this story about this guy who like lives in a chair because he like fell in love with somebody, and so like he like lives in the chair and like slowly like absorbs people into the chair.
What?
It is so creepy and weird, and I love it. I love it. I love it. The chair one's really good. And then I read two of his longer mangas. I read Remina, which is about this like crazy planet that gets found, and it has like a mouth, and it slowly starts eating all the other planets in the solar
This
system.
sounds
And
amazing.
and then it turns, but like the guy who found it named the planet after his daughter. So then when the planet's coming in to kill the entire world, everybody turns on this Remina, the daughter that the planet was named after, and who has become a celebrity that was like much beloved until this planet that was named after her starts eating everybody, and like all the planets, other planets, and destroying the world. So it's just this crazy dissection of like mob mentality,
Yeah.
like, and it's so good. And there's a lot of talk about like classism in there too, because there's all these like elite people who try to escape to Remina, and that doesn't go great. And then it's really good. And then the other one I read this month was Gaio, which is about these fish that have legs that come onto the land and start terrorizing people. But they're like mechanical legs. So it turns out like there was something going on during one of the world wars where they were like experimenting with something off on some island, some technology, something, and then of course that all gets corrupted, and now you have these terrestrial fish, like you have like
Oh, that's
sharks
so weird.
with like robotic legs like swarming the planet and killing. And it's like Sharknado.
I just had a visual.
But it's good, and it's also terrifying. But there's like the main characters you're following is this young couple, and they are awful. Like I hate them so much. You need to read this so that you can experience
I
how
need
much
to
I
read
hate them.
all of these.
Because I absolutely hate this couple. Like I feel like they're constantly yelling at each other. She's really annoying, and he's kind of an asshole. Meanwhile, they're trying to like take care of each other. Like I don't know, they do seem
Right.
to like each other, but then there's just like sharks everywhere. There's just this weird smell that like comes around. So like she's constantly upset about how poorly it smells. It's
This is nuts.
there's
This is
mad
manga?
scientists.
Is this a
Yeah,
this is manga? I haven't read it, but I haven't read any manga. But
yeah.
what you're telling me of these, this is intriguing.
Yeah, and they're nuts. Like they're insane. So I still have to read. I have two more on my shelves, and I'm still waiting for Tomei to come.
Yeah. Oh,
But
that's a
I don't
big one.
think
That's a
I think
popular
it's
one.
on black. It's on backlist like everywhere.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I have it coming from Barnes and Noble because Amazon didn't have it at all, and I don't even know when it's going to arrive from Barnes and Noble.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But that's a popular one. Like that, people
mm-hmm.
love that one.
People see I see that around a lot, but they're
That's
just all
crazy.
absolutely nuts. And then there's one I just got. No Longer Human, which I think he's won awards for, and it's not his story, it's somebody else's story, but he did the manga version of it, and
Hmm.
it's like award winning, and I can't wait to get into
Really?
that one because it's kind of like I feel like a mesh of both worlds. You know, I do love manga, and like horror, but it's
Yeah.
also like Japanese literature, so I get this nice little mashup. So that
That
one I'm excited for.
sounds so bizarre. Everything you just described to me. That sounds
You would
wonderful and
love it. And
bizarre.
the art is beautiful, and it's just absolutely like it's a trip. Like you just have a good
That
time.
sounds wonderful. I wonder if my
Like I picked
library
up
has it. I'm gonna see.
go see because I picked up Remina because I just couldn't read The Shadow Rising anymore and I needed a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow. Okay, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my third book is There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job by
Oh
Kikuku
yeah.
Sumura, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. This was the book that I read, and it's like I liked it, but I wasn't sure why I liked it. That sounds very strange when I say it out loud, but
No, I
uh,
think we've all had books like that where we're like, I don't know what it is about this, but I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I could ever recommend it to anybody else because I don't know why I liked it,
right.
but I
I
liked
guess
it.
because I don't I don't really feel like it was much to this book, but I
Hmm.
just really enjoyed reading it. Yeah, I gave it 3 stars, and that's decent for me. That's a good book.
Yeah, that's a good
So
book.
this young
Three
woman
stars is not a bad
it's
rating. It
not.
isn't.
It's not. It didn't quite make 4, but like I enjoyed it. So a young woman walks into this employment agency, and she has specific requests for what she wants. She wants a job that is close to home, requires very little thinking, and involves sitting in a chair, right? So she has this idea that she wants a very easy job. But what happens is with each assignment that this employment agency gives her, something wild and bizarre happens. Each one. So like she's in a haunted park one time. She it's weird. It's weird. She's following people like a private eye. So like
Just following people?
yeah, like things never the jobs never turn out to be as easy as she really wanted them to be. And it circles around to her, I guess, trying to really figure out what is she going to do with her life, because she's kind of just like floating around. So that's really like her journey to try to like figure out, what I want to do, because apparently there's no such thing as an easy job. So again, like it wasn't much to the book, but I just liked it. I just liked it.
Why don't you do another one? Because I did 3 in a row.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
We'll go with one of your favorites, The Memory Police by Yoko Agawa.
I do love that book. It's so weird and wonderful.
This book was weird and wonderful, and I don't know, also like a little sad.
Yeah.
It was strange when like people's body parts started like
Yes.
disappearing. That was very off-putting.
Did you feel like they were actually disappearing, or that people just, like, they were still there, but people just didn't have contextually an idea of
I
what, like, a leg
I
was, so
think
they
they were
just didn't think they
forgetting.
were there?
I thought it
Yeah.
was all in the mind,
Yeah.
but it was just the way it was described was so off-putting. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And you know what it also felt like to me? It felt like dementia patients.
Yeah, and it felt like the opposite of phantom limb. Like, instead of feeling like you have a leg, but it's not there, it's like it's not there, but it is.
Right, right, exactly. But it felt
Mm-hmm.
like, because it was like a slow unraveling of remembering everything, and that
Mm-hmm.
felt like dementia to me. It was
Mm-hmm.
very very odd.
But it's
Um,
also felt like, a totalitarian government taking over,
oh
and
yes,
censorship, and when we're talking now, especially with the increase in book banning and
mm-hmm,
wanting to control our education systems and what our kids can learn, and
mm-hmm,
it's like if we trying to erase certain things from the world to try to get people to forget it,
yeah.
but there will always be people who remember.
Right. Because those scenes in this book where the government was coming in to search your home to see if you still
Hmm.
had, things that you want to
Like,
remember and
hmm,
keep, and how some people were trying to like
birds.
hold on to just a simple photo of their parents. Like I found that to be pretty heartbreaking and
Yeah.
scary at the same time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
it feels like it
It feels
feels
like it
like
could
you could
happen.
get there so quickly,
Yeah.
you know so I really enjoyed it. I would like to read more from her. She
Hmm.
has a book, I think it's called something about the housekeeper and the professor or something like that. I want to read that, but I enjoyed this a great deal. A great
Yeah.
deal.
I told you that I randomly saw an edition that didn't have, that it had like a white girl on the cover, right?
Yes, you did. That feels
I wish I
strange to
had.
me.
I wish I had saved that post, and I don't think it's the person who made the posts. They didn't
Yeah,
design the cover.
yeah.
It just happened to be like whatever edition is like,
Oh, we can
and I
probably
think it
pull it
was
up
in
on
a different.
Goodreads.
Yeah, I think it was in a different language. I think it was like with a different alphabet. So I think it was something like, I don't know,
Yeah,
sort of Slavic or something like that.
yeah.
But I could be very wrong. But my memory is flawed, but I thought that was very strange. I was like,
It's
oh.
like, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then again, like, the island is sort of it's like an unnamed place. So,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I mean, I guess it could be a white chick on the cover, but it
It
just
could
felt
be.
very strange.
Yeah.
Could be anybody on a cover,
Yeah.
right?
You're right.
But
You're right.
also felt strange.
Yeah. But good book. I see why you
Great
like it
book.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can talk about one of your favorites,
Which is
Heaven by Miyako Kawakami.
yes.
I really love that book. I just really love her as an author, so I feel like that's going to be my response to everything she writes.
Mm-hmm.
But I just felt so bad for these two kids.
Mm-hmm.
And like, where are the parents? Is this normal in Japan for kids to be this terrible to each other to the point where nobody cares about it? Like,
No.
and the poor kids have like horrible parents themselves. Like, I felt so bad. And like, they needed so much support. Like, where are the guidance counselors? Where are the people to help these poor kids?
Right.
So they can get through. Like, this poor girl has a lot of grief and problems over her dad, and it's so sad. And the fact that she would just like stand there and take this abuse because she somehow feels like she's supposed to is just so sad. So sad.
So many heartbreaking moments. I love that part where the guy is talking with he wasn't the active bully, but he was like the side
one of the bullies.
They were having that like real conversation. I was like, this shit is heavy here. You know what I mean? Because it was like so raw. I was like, this is a very uncomfortable conversation they're having. Because no hold barred, like no hold barred. Just we're out with it. We're out with it. I'm not trying to protect your feelings. I'm showing you very little, if any, empathy. Like, it was raw. Ooh, that was a tough scene.
It was a really good book. It's very. I hope it's actually not a true portrayal of what it's like be growing up and being bullied in Japan as a teenager, but just because it's so sad. But I'm sure it is in many respects.
I'm sure it is all over the world, not just Japan.
Yeah.
Kids are fucking mean.
Kids are fucking mean. They're vicious. Yeah. Kids are so mean. Like, I mean, I guess, it's universal because we all shove each other into lockers. Like, that is what we all do.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Yeah. And
but like, why were there never any teachers? Like, why was there never anybody to like...
Are there ever really?
I don't know.
No,
I don't have children. I don't know.
First
and
of all,
like,
not just kids just aren't mean, but they're also so sneaky and slick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like, I never stood for any of that stuff. The only experience I have is really like coaching children, and we did have, altercations between some of the kids. Sometimes we did have one kid that was like a very big problem, and having to deal with behavioral issues, and the kids would tell me stuff, or you would watch stuff, and you're the adult. If you see something, you're supposed to say no. Like, and they're sneaky, and like, they would do things in locker rooms, but you also need to have an adult you can trust. The saddest part is that they didn't have an adult that they could trust to go to on top of all of that, to be like, hey, like, and in fact, I think he said something about how he didn't want to tell his parents because he didn't want his parents to be disappointed in him, which is the saddest thing to hear, that your parents might be disappointed in you for being bullied.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What? No. Mm-hmm. So that was just sad.
I know. She's
really
such
good book.
A good writer. She is just
really
such a good writer. I can't wait for her new book to come out. I'm so excited. I'm glad you finally got around to reading it. Yeah, I finally got there. So my book of the month was just delivered. I saw the mailman put it in my mailbox. Thanks, mail guy.
How do you get your book? We ordered at the same time, like maybe 5 minutes after you. I ordered my book of the month. Hold on. It's February 2nd as we're recording this. All right. Let me look. Let me see. Don't worry. They have shirts now, just in case anybody gave a shit. Mine's not even like shipped.
Usually I get my email saying, your box is on the way. I didn't even get that this time.
I think you are Book of the Month. Like, it's not a corporation. It's Naomi.
I told you, if generally, if I get my order in like before 2:00 on the first day those books drop, I will receive my box within 2 to 3 days. Generally,
It says my box is en route and between the 4th and the 7th.
I didn't even get that email at all. I guess I just skipped
That's
it
just
this
I'm in
time.
the app. I'm in the app.
Mm-hmm. But you know how usually they send the email too? I didn't get any of that.
Anyway, Naomi. Little known fact, Naomi apparently lives in the Book of the Month distribution center. So
oh, thanks, Book of the Month. So
maybe pick more Black authors in Black History Month next time.
They're I don't know. I don't know what to say about them right now. I really don't.
Has anybody really, other than Shelby, said much?
I haven't seen anything, but also I don't think anyone's paying attention to them this month. Not really. There's so much other stuff going on. You know? So, because right now everybody's focused on showing you the books by Black authors that they own. And sharing those. So, like, the focus really isn't.
Can we take a break for a second and talk about how much I kind of hate the TBRs for insert history month that happens every time we get to one? Like, why are you not reading these books all year round? Why are you reaching out to queer creators in Pride Month for recommendations? Why are you like, I don't understand. Just fucking read the books. We've been telling you all about all these books all year round. Read them all year round. Like, I get that you probably feel better because you read like a Black book in February,
right?
But like, really, that's all you're gonna do?
Yes, because a lot of
you're gonna read your 1 or 2 queer books in Pride Month, and you're gonna be like,
yes, because it's performative reading.
It irritates me to no end. Like, I'm glad about it on the one hand, because I love these condensed lists of different books that I maybe haven't seen before. But on the other hand, I hate them because I hate that performative aspect of them.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And then,
sorry. I was like making my coffee this morning, having an internal rant to myself about this, and I was like, we're going to discuss this on the podcast.
I'm just waiting to see how many of these big old stacks have that one Black book, and it's The Hate You Give. I'm just saying.
I think it's going to be, you know what I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be the love songs of W.E.B. Du Bois.
No, it's too chunky. It won't be. That won't be the one that you see. It won't be. It's too big.
I don't know. I feel like it'll be like the look how cultured I am.
No,
book.
It's too big. It's
going to be on my list, but it's because I didn't get to it in December.
Are we going to start that this month, or?
Yes, we are, because I'm reading that in 1619 because we didn't get to them in December.
Okay, like we'll do that. And we're going to do to Paradise as well. I'm just getting all the chunky shit out. Yeah, okay. Yes. So yeah, for those who are just reading the Black books during February, W.E.B. Du Bois is not going to be on there because it's too damn big. It's not going to be on there. It's going to be something else.
But there's so many books. There's so many books to read. And you should be doing this all year round. Yeah. Just do it all year round. You don't need to wait for like
whatever special emphasis month it is. You don't have to wait for it. You could just do it.
You can go hard in that month, but you should be doing it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's my PSA, and I'm sorry. But it irritates me. Because there was a creator.
Don't apologize.
There was a Black creator that put out a reel that was like somebody asking them for recommendations. And she was like, I don't know, maybe read all the books I've been telling you to read all year long. And it's like, no shit.
Right. But you know what's funny, though?
Also, why are you asking people? Google exists.
I was getting ready to say, like, my last thing is, like, why do you act like now you don't know how to use Google? All of a sudden, you don't know what Google is. You don't know how to use it. You don't know that it's a thing where you can search for stuff.
Google. It's great.
Just
scroll through your fucking feed. Unless your whole feed is like white people, which even
It could
then,
be.
scroll through your feed
Yeah.
and read the hate you give a third time. Like,
Yeah. Seriously.
I still never read it. I've thought about unhauling it a few times, but I
unhauled
like
it.
keep it there just in case I ever read it.
I'm never going to read it. That's why I went ahead and unhauled it so that someone else can enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, it's
I'm kind of getting tired of like overarchingly sad stories. I said this to you when we were doing our book of the month picks, and as much as I will probably get that author in a future box or get that book in a future box, I just like right now I have so many sad stories on my shelf that like I'd rather focus on some things that at least encapsulate a small amount of joy.
Exactly.
'Cause everything can't be about slavery.
Right. Absolutely. You know how I feel about it. I just want a book where it's just black folks doing regular stuff.
Why can't they be messy? Just like you have a bunch of white messy people doing stupid shit.
Listen, I'm going to recommend a messy book for y'all at the end of the show. I can't wait.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
okay.
Back to Japan.
Back to January in Japan. All right. So this other book that I read is called Malice, a Mystery by Keigo Hagashino. That's probably wrong. I'm sorry.
I love that cover.
The cover is magnificent. And this was I don't know what number in the series it is, but whatever. It was so good. It was so good, and also I did not see where it was going, and that was a wonderful feeling. I didn't see where it was going at all. It was actually a shock to me, and it got my brain working, and I enjoyed how I like this detective. What was his name? His name was Detective. You know what? Never mind. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name, but it was a great detective story. I don't know if there are others in the series that are translated. I'm not sure, but if you can pick up Malice, I would highly recommend it.
That's something that we realized with that other series, that they translate things in weird orders.
Yeah, they do.
For the crime books.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know why.
Is it like maybe certain ones are more popular in Japan, so they translate those first?
I don't know. I wish they wouldn't do it. Just do it in order.
Yeah.
Because I understand, like, probably each book is a different case, but there's still going to be things like backstory about said detective or whatever that you're going to miss.
Yeah.
You know, like, I like all that backstory stuff that you get little pieces of with each book. I like that. So
I want that guy who wrote, I think I gave it to my mom to read, the one we read last year. The Gentleman.
Oh, yeah. One of our TBR Lowdown picks, right?
Yeah, what was it called?
What was that called? A Gentleman's Murder?
Something like that. It used to be right here, but then I gave it to my mom to read. I really want that to come back out, because I love another one from him, because I loved that, like, I just loved that world he created.
Yeah, that was really good. Really, really good.
Yeah. I think I only really have one more book.
Me too.
Okay. So I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which I've seen a lot of people read. I did not read the second one yet. And that's Toshikazu Gucci? I don't know. Sorry. I'm still doing my Duolingo. Maybe one day I'll know how to say things appropriately in Japanese. But I really love this story. It's like, basically there's this little cafe, and if you sit in this one seat in the cafe, you can go back in time, to a specific moment in time, but you have to get back before the coffee gets cold. Otherwise you become, there's this woman that's like a ghost who's always sitting in the chair. So you can't sit there until she leaves. And that's your only chance. And if you don't come back in time, I think you become the next ghost lady, right?
Oh, that's so interesting. So that's what that's about. Yeah.
So then there's these, I think there's like 3 or 4 different people that do the thing, and they have their own stories. There's like a wife whose husband has dementia. There's people that like almost like a mixed connection kind of romance, and there's like a couple different people, and they're just lovely little like vignettes of stories of people going back in time. And there's actually, they go forward in time. No, they make a date to go back in time. Somebody makes a date to go back in time to meet somebody in the future. So it's they're very interesting. I don't want to spoil that little story because it's heart
Yeah.
jerky, but it's really it's sweet, and I want to read the next collection. I just didn't. I got sidetracked by a bunch of other stuff, like I always do. Because there's too many books, so like I'll start reading
Man.
something and then I'm like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I went down my Junju Ito like rabbit hole, and then I never circled back to the second book of this. But they're just really, it's just a really lovely short novella
Yeah.
that I don't know, it warms your little heart, and I enjoyed it. I will just quickly mention the book that I'm still reading that I cannot seem to read because it's on stupid script. Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Sukagawa.
Hmm.
This is a interesting story. I am like quarter of the way through it. Um, it there's this guy who owns basically a sweet shop that makes these like pancakes filled with sweet bean paste, and he doesn't own it. He works in it, and he's working off a debt. And this little old lady keeps showing up and being like, "Hey, I see your help wanted sign. Can I help you?" And he's like, "No, you're like a gnarled old lady. Get away from me. You're gonna scare the customers." And then one day she brings her own sweet bean paste, and it's like phenomenal. So she's like teaching him how to make it correctly, and there's gonna be basically the trajectory seems like we're going to like this guy and this little old lady like making some fantastic connection,
I love
and
that.
her like helping him find
I
himself,
love
and like
that.
I feel like I'm gonna cry at some point. The
Mm-hmm.
cover has this other person on the cover, like, so there's like a little old lady, the man, and like a third person, so I don't know who this third person is, but at some point like somebody else is apparently coming into the
Yeah.
story. I just feel like it's gonna be really heartwarming, and I need to actually finish it, but I hate the format. I may just buy it just so I can finish it because I can't
Yeah.
read it on my stupid script app
I can't
because it
believe it
does
can't be
sound
get on the
so
Kindle.
lovely.
Yeah,
I
that
wouldn't
does
mind
sound so
reading it on my
nice.
Kindle, doesn't it?
It does.
But anyway,
I love that.
what's your last book?
Uh, my last one. The Decagon House Murders by Yukito Yatsuji, maybe?
I need to read that so
Oh
bad.
my god, you so need to read this brilliant murder mystery. So you've got these students and they're in like a university mystery club, and
I
yes, a
like that.
university mystery club, and they go to visit this mansion, this house where these grisly murders happened.
Hmm.
And it's what do they call it? What, a closed circle murder? What's the
Locked door murder.
locked door means what exactly?
It means
Because
that
like
someone's dead inside of a room, and there's no real obvious way that the person was murdered because everything was kind of closed off.
okay,
It's this the study in Scarlet was like the first locked door murder.
so maybe that's
Um,
not this exactly, because they can go out of the house, but they can't get off the island.
okay,
So
so but it's like
this is not a true locked room mystery
no,
thing, right? Okay.
no, but it sounds like it's similar in the fact that like you have that isolation
Yes,
element.
there is an isolation. Yes, so they're in
It
this
sounds a
house.
little bit like, and then there were none almost without
Yes,
everybody dying. I don't know if everybody dies in this, but
right. I've heard about. I haven't read it, but I've heard enough about it where
oh,
this is similar.
You need to read, and then there was,
I will. So they're in
and the
this
movies are
house.
really good too, by the way.
They're in
So,
this house, which they can get in and out of, but they're trapped on the island. And so
hmm
the guy that drops them off, he's supposed to come back like in 5 to 7 days to pick them back up, to take them back to their respective places.
this is, and then there was one.
Oh,
The setup is that.
okay.
How do they
So
all get to the island?
they all
What brings them all?
they're
What is
going
the
they're going to this house where this guy was murdered.
okay? So that's so their reasons for getting there is different. Okay,
Yeah. And so they're all there and murder started happening. But I what I loved about it
murder
was
ensued.
murder ensues. And so what I loved about it was I felt stressed reading this. I really was like, oh shit, well, who's next? And
Mm-hmm.
how are they going to die? What's going to happen? How are they getting in? Because they were taking, like, once a couple murders happened, they were taking certain precautions to ensure
Mm-hmm.
nobody could get in the house, but people were still dying, and I was stressed, and I loved every minute of it. All
You
that
have
tension
to
I felt, I
read.
loved it.
You have to read, and then there was one.
Okay, I will. I will. But I loved it because also surprise surprise, the person who actually did it, I had no fucking clue. There was nothing in this story that would even remotely make you think it was that person. Nothing whatsoever.
Really?
Nothing whatsoever. Not a hint, not a clue, nada nada. It was fantastic. I love this book so much.
I have to read it.
Yes.
If it's that much like, and then there's one, or then there were whatever it is. I think the original title was 12 Little Indians or something like that, because
Yes, I
that's
heard
the
that before.
song that was, there's like a
Mm-hmm.
poem or something, and then they go through it throughout the book, but we can't call it that anymore.
Yeah.
So, but, um, yeah, I need to
Yes.
read this.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. So also what's interesting, in the very beginning of this book, there is a whole introduction about Japanese mystery fiction, what is called Hankaku mystery or Orthodox mystery. And it's this whole little educational piece on what it refers to and where it comes from and who's using it. And it just is very interesting. So that's the Decagon House Murders. I highly recommend this. I enjoyed this book so much. So
Am
much.
I adding it to my Abe cart
Yes.
along with sweet bean paste?
I need
I
to buy this
am.
for myself as well. And it's very short.
We like short books.
Mm-hmm.
We like books.
Yeah, I read this one physically. I didn't even look for an audiobook.
It doesn't have an audiobook. I
Oh,
already have looked.
okay.
Because I know that you loved it so much, and I was like, okay, let me see. And I was like, maybe I can just get the audiobook. And nope.
It's
So,
definitely one of those books where you can't wait to get back to it. You know what I mean? You can't wait
yeah.
to get back to it.
So, oh, I have to like select a payment method because I've never saved my payment method on here. I'll order my books later when we're not recording. Um, so yeah, I'm obsessed with my Japanese literature. It's mine. With Japanese literature. So
So good. It was so fun.
it is fun, and
Because
we need more mystery.
well, you know what was so cool about it was these were titles that were already on my list that I've been wanting to read, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, I'm gonna get to them right now. I'm going to participate in January in Japan, so I had a good time. So good.
I'm clearly obsessed with Junji Ito, and I've
Mm-hmm.
gone down quite the rabbit hole, and will continue to. There's still more books that I want to acquire,
Yeah,
but so far I have 5 with one on the way, and
you are not messing
yeah,
around.
I'm not. I am obsessed. When I become obsessed, I remain obsessed.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
But
So
they're just good. Like when I describe them to you and you're like dying
yes,
laughing, but you're also like, I kind of want to read that. Like,
yes,
yeah, it's just a good time. They just make me happy, and they're just crazy.
over the
Like
top,
over the top.
bonkers, and it sounds so delightful.
But also there's parts of it that are really descriptive of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
like Remina with the whole mob. It's like, and treating her like a witch, and it's
Mm.
just crazy. It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just love seeing how universal we are as humans, and I hate
Yeah.
seeing how universal we are as humans, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like maybe hopefully somewhere out there's a collection of humans that aren't terrible. Like
Yeah. Maybe they are coming from
Papa Papa
Papapavia. Papapavia.
Wolf.
Maybe that's where
Maybe.
they're coming from.
No, yeah.
Oh, you're gonna trip out when you read Earthlings. I can't wait for you to read that.
I'll have to get it because I'm not stopping. And the translated works just keep coming, and my
Oh,
Japanese
don't
translated
they
works keep
ever.
coming. And we're going to talk more about our 12 Women, 12 Countries in
Yes.
another episode. But
Yes.
we are like loving
It's
all of
just
this.
so wonderful to read from the perspective of people from other places in this big old world.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a great time. It is so fun discovering an author that you completely fall in love with.
Yes, and
You
especially
know?
somebody like that has a lot of these translated authors have like catalogs of books that
Right.
aren't translated yet, but are continuing to get. So it's almost
Yep.
like a new discovery, and you get to like
It
keep
is.
going down into it.
It is. And I'm here for it. I'm so here for it.
Yeah.
So I
So
guess we'll do our one recommendation each and then we'll close out this
yeah,
episode.
let me grab a recommendation for you. Hold on.
Okay. I am going to go ahead with mine because this is a book that I purchased. Wait, this is 2022. So I purchased this book in like March of 2020.
What are you doing in March
And
of 2020?
I
Sorry, I
purchased,
couldn't hear.
oh, sorry. I purchased this book back in March of 2020. And as soon as I got it in the mail, like, I guess everybody was reading it at the same time. And I was hearing all these reviews, like I couldn't get away from them, right? And a lot of them were not great. And what happened was it turned me off from reading the book. And I'm talking about the book Queenie
Oh
by
yeah.
Candace Carty Williams. Oh, girl, we related? I'm Williams. Okay. So you never know. And so
Come on the
it turned
podcast.
me
You're my
off.
cousin.
Hey, it turned me off from reading it. Like, man, some of y'all were hating on Queenie so hard.
Yeah, I heard a lot of negative things about
Oh,
it.
you guys were tearing Queenie a new everything. So it really turned me off from reading the book. But I knew at some point I wanted to read it, but I needed to get away from it and have time to like forget all those fresh reviews. And so that
Mm-hmm.
time was last week, which was the last week of January. And listen, I loved it. I absolutely loved the book Queenie. I did a little video review that I'm probably going to post probably tomorrow, but I really liked this book. Some of y'all must not have a heart because I understood why Queenie was acting in the way that she was, and you all need to let up a little bit. Ease up on Queenie. This was very good. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about this author. She has a new book coming out. I believe it's called People Person. People Person. I don't know what is coming out, but this year. And so after reading this, I'm gonna like rush and get that whenever it comes out because I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed everything about it from beginning to end.
So is Queenie a debut?
I think it was her debut.
Ah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
I will say that I haven't read it because I've seen people shit on it.
Oh yeah. Shitting hard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, do I want to invest the time? I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. And also, let me just say this is definitely like I read this in a day. This is a very short book, and it reads really quickly.
Well, if you like it, then I will give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
So.
You could probably just listen to the audiobook.
Yeah. I mean, everybody doesn't, I mean, not every book is for everybody, and
Right.
we don't all have to like the same things.
Right.
But
talking to
yeah.
you, Shatter Me series. Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you know how good it felt to unhaul that series? To give that series to McKay's? I was like, here.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
You just made some young person's life so
real happy.
They probably walked in there and were like, oh my God.
It was almost complete. Like, I had a lot of them because I kept acquiring them from
Hang
wherever.
On a minute. Refresh my memory. How many books are in that series?
I have no idea because it keeps coming out with more.
Okay. Oh, it's not done? I thought the one that came out
I think they
last year.
I mean, I think it's done, but I think she was like redoing it from Warren's perspective or something. I don't know. I am not the authority on this series. Okay, I just know that I had like 5 or 6 books and I got rid of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they are no longer here.
Audience. That's a series where I can most definitely say I'm way too fucking old for that. For those,
I'm
for
too
those
old.
books.
I'm too old.
Yeah.
I'm too old. And there's some like the Crave series, my little obsession. Mm-hmm. Like I am probably too old to be the target audience in the sense that like why I like it is not the same reason that the younger audience is liking it. Right. I'm liking it because it's fucking hilarious and I enjoy the ridiculousness of the story. Like it is just like you love Jackie Collins. I have that.
Yes.
And and it's
Very different.
very
Very
different.
different.
I am not like actually like simping over anybody in the stories. Like I'm
Right.
not. Yeah, no, I'm just like, this is ridiculous, and I love this.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
So my book recommendation comes from you actually crying at books. I thought this is the book that, and okay. So this is a graphic novel, Alone by Shambo. I can't speak French either, despite the fact that I was learning at the same time as English. I no longer can speak French. Little known fact about Alyssa. Anyway, so this is about this guy who's like deformed, like he's kind of, if you're watching the video, I'm trying to show you some pictures, and he grows up in this lighthouse out in the middle of the ocean, and he's all alone since his parents have passed away, and he just lives in this little lighthouse, and this fisherman gets a new like fisherman helper, and the fisherman stops and leaves things at the lighthouse in the middle of the ocean for this man, and they kind of have this conversation about this man, and then you go into the story about the man, the beast that lives in the lighthouse, and he plays this game with a dictionary where he makes up, you can see he does never seen anything, like he only has seen what's in his lighthouse. He makes up like ideas of what words really mean, and there's like very little actual text in here. Like it's all pictures, and you see him, and he's just like the sweetest character ever. And he honestly made me cry. Like I cried legit tears by the end of this, and it's so moving, and I don't know, everybody needs to read it. It's so good. And the art is just beautiful. I feel like this artist is really beautiful. I follow him on Instagram just so I can see his art. It's so good. And it's just funny. I'm going to try to find like one of his words that he like comes up with. And so like he'll like look up a word, and then he has these panels of like images, and he goes through them. So he's like labyrinth, and it defines labyrinth, and then you see him walking down the stairs of the lighthouse, like his little labyrinth. And he's got some other like weird things that he sees. Oh god, monster.
I've seen some a handful of booktube videos about that, and what you're doing, how you're feeling, they all felt the same.
It is just and like there's so few words that are used in this book, and it's just so moving. It's so good. It is a masterpiece.
Wow.
So yeah, I recommend it.
I realized I didn't say what Queenie was about. Let me just read this little part. I'm sorry, guys. All right. Meet Queenie Jenkins, journalist. Catastrophic, expressive, aggressive, dramatic, loved, lonely, relatable. Her boyfriend has asked her to leave their apartment. Her boss doesn't seem to see her. Her Jamaican British family doesn't seem to hear her. Her best friends try to help her. The series of men she meets online treat her hideously, and yet she doesn't stop seeing them. Queenie is in a spiral. Okay, there you go. That's Queenie.
Poor Queenie.
Get it? Read it.
Is that to me, or is that to everybody?
It's to
Alyssa.
It's to everybody. Listen, look, I like stories with messy white people. I also like stories with messy black people. I just like mess. I like some mess in a book. So, Queenie. If you all can give room for white people to be messy, you can give room for black women to be messy too. Okay? So,
because guess what? We're all people. Because we're all fucking messy.
That's right. So, there you have it.
I'm a fucking hot mess anyway.
Right. So anyway, it's February 2nd as we're recording this. Our February book pick is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. Read along with us. Join our Discord to have those conversations with us about the book. If you want to engage with us on Instagram with your book, don't forget to tag us. Read with TBR Lowdown. I can't grab mine at the moment, but engage with us. We are so psyched to finally be reading Giovanni's Room.
And it's my
so
first
excited.
James Baldwin, everybody.
Cannot wait to discuss this book. So excited. Also, don't forget we've got the year-long challenge going on. Hashtag 12 Women, 12 Countries. We're reading books by women around the world from other countries. So join in on that. Go to our website for all the things, tbrlowdown.com. Everything that we're doing, reading, everything is there. Subscribe to our podcast, leave a review, share with a friend. And on that note, we are out of here. Bye.
Bye.